Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 2013 Associate Awards Banquet. I want to congratulate each and every one of you on your employment anniversaries, and I want to thank you for all of your hard work over these many years. I also feel that I need to thank your families for sharing you with us for so long. I know that the work you do on behalf of our patients often keeps you away from your supper table, your birthday parties, your Little League games, your PTA meetings, and even your date nights. But despite all of that, I hope that your family members are as proud of what you do for others as all of us are. So thank you for that. You know, I've been doing this gig now for 20 years. Doesn't seem possible. And though I have immensely enjoyed it each and every time, I also want you to know that it's not as easy as I've tried to make it look, because I know that I have a very serious responsibility. I am supposed to appropriately honor our longest serving associates. In preparing to introduce you to this year's crop, their answers to my questions really got me to thinking about how profound an impact they've had. And so we are not going to do what I usually do tonight. No corny jokes. Instead, I've decided to focus on our honorees' early years, a time when we were decided underdogs in this town. For those of you who have only worked here for 5 years, maybe even 10, you might not know this, or perhaps you've forgotten that we were once considered to be the hospital of last resort, the place, it was said, where patients went to die. You know, the county hospital. We were often criticized and virtually ignored by the other hospitals in town. Now, I could tell you a very long and interesting story about our journey out of oblivion, but it occurs to me that I don't need to. You already know it because you lived it. And so instead, I decided just to show you a video. It features a woman who had aspirations, just like us. She wanted to do things, just like us. She wanted to be somebody, just like us. And so she stepped out onto a stage to prove herself worthy of the task. She didn't realize that her bra strap was hanging from the sleeve of her dress, or that the audience had already sized her up, as well as the judges, and decided that she was incapable. She just did what she came to do, just like all of you have done for all of these years. And what happened next, in my opinion, tells our story better than I ever could. So let's watch.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
My name is Susan Boyle. I'm nearly 48, currently unemployed but still looking. And I'm going to sing for you on Britain's Got Talent today.
A little nervous.
Yeah, sure, no.
Yeah, well that's not surprising, but you know, try
I've got a fighting mood, you know. At the moment I live in Moline with my cat called Pebbles. But I've never been married. Never been kissed. Oh, shame. But it's not an advert.
And have you done this for many a year?
Since I was 12.
Since you were 12?
I've always wanted to perform in front of a large audience. I'm going to make that audience rock.
Hi, what's your name, darling?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, where are you from?
I am from Blackburn near Bathgate, West Lothian.
It's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of... It's a collection of villages. Had to think there.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
Okay, what's the dream?
I'm trying to be a professional singer.
And why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
I've never been given the chance before, but here's hoping it'll change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page.
Elaine
Like
Page.
that.
What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables.
Okay.
Big song.
Yeah? Yes.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by. When hope smiled, life was giving.
You didn't expect that, did you? Did you? No.
I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. I was young and unafraid. When dreams are made and used and wasted, there was a ransom to be paid. No sun and song, no wine untasted, but the tigers come with their voices soft as thunder. As they tear your hopes apart, as they turn your dreams to still I dream you'd come to me. I dream we live our lives together. But there are dreams which cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. I had a dream like that would be so different from this hell I'm living, so different now from what it seems. My life has killed the dream I dreamed.
Hello.
Hey, come back here.
Yes. Today.
All right. Thank you very much, Susan. Piers.
Without a doubt, that was the biggest surprise I have had in 3 years on this show. When you stood there with that cheeky grin and said, I want to be like Elaine Page, everyone was laughing at you. No one is laughing now. That was stunning. An incredible performance. Amazing. I'm reeling from shock. How about you two? But
I am
Can't
so
believe it.
thrilled because I know that everybody was against you. I honestly think that we were all being very cynical, and I think that's the biggest wake-up call ever. And I just want to say that it was a complete privilege listening to that. It was brilliant.
Susan, I knew the minute you walked out
Oh, Simon!
on that stage that we were going to hear something extraordinary, and I was right.
What a lot of tosh.
Susan, you are a little tiger, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know about that.
You
I
are.
don't know about that.
Okay, moment of truth. Piers, yes or no?
the biggest yes I have ever given anybody.
Amanda?
Yes, definitely. Brilliant. Amanda, you too!
Susan Boyle, you can go back to the village with your head held high. It's 3 yeses.
I think you enjoyed that just a little.
Wouldn't you have?
What a voice.
Incredible.
Congratulations.
Oh my God.
Congratulations. How do you feel?
Bloody fantastic.
Peter says that's the biggest yes he's ever given on the show. In 3 series.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mind-blowing.
Most extraordinary shock we've ever had.
Just so emotional. Unbelievable and emotional. And fantastic.
At last check, that audition has been seen by more than 300 million people. Susan Boyle endured a long and grueling season on Britain's Got Talent, as you would imagine, and extraordinary worldwide media attention that so overwhelmed that humble and once jolly woman that she almost had to quit the show because of stress, as you might expect. But what you might not have expected was that Susan Boyle soldiered on and made it to the finals. Did she win? No. Susan Boyle came in second, but she got a recording contract from no less than Simon Cowell and a makeover. She was asked to perform for the Queen during the celebration of her 60th anniversary of ascending to the throne. And in 2011, remember that year, please, Susan Boyle sold more records than Lady Gaga and Beyonce. True story. In other words, her life has forever been changed. Well, we've had a bit of a makeover too, haven't we? And our lives have forever been changed. You know, anyone who has worked here for any length of time can tell you story after story about the years when the county hospital was an afterthought, certainly not the destination hospital that we have become today. Even Mr. Valenti has a story. When he first got here in 2004, one of the very first things he did was to commission a scientific zip code by zip code analysis of what El Pasoans thought about us. The Community Attitude Survey has been repeated every 2 years since. In early 2005, the first results showed that we were last in the market. El Pasoans said they preferred to go somewhere else for their health care. Well, rather than being discouraged by those results, Mr. Valenti used them to forge our path forward. Together with our board of managers, we developed a strategic plan, and you systematically went about implementing it. And in 2011, does that year ring a bell? We were ranked first in the market in preference. How's that for a turnaround? How is that for exceeding expectations? How is that for silencing the Simon Cowells of the world. Our next survey is taking place as you and I speak tonight. What do you think the results are going to be? Well, I have a feeling that we are again going to exceed expectations. And I'm so glad that it's going to happen while I'm still here. When I first got here almost 21 years ago, my own father was not at all happy. You see, in my previous career, he had long enjoyed the fact that his daughter, his name, was on TV every night. And everywhere he went, wherever he had to show an ID, whether it was the library or the airport or the grocery store, if he paid for his purchases with a check, somebody would inevitably ask my dad, "Hey, is that lady on TV your daughter?" Daddy was very proud of what I did. And now, he said to me, "You're going to work at Thomason?" Like I was somehow disgracing the family name. Sorry. Daddy died in 1994. I so wish that he had lived to see all that we've become. The place where his wife, my nearly 89-year-old mother, who's fully insured, and his beloved Margaret, who's fully insured, use exclusively for our health care. The place where the President of the United States of America, think about that, will come, God forbid, should he or she ever need medical care while traveling in this region. Great leadership set the stage for that, but you accomplished it. And so tonight, I want to showcase those who lived through the early years, our longest serving associates. They've been here through thick and thin, and they've taught us all a thing or two about perseverance, haven't they? For 25, 30, 35, and 40 years of their lives, they've reported for duty. And that means that you and I have heard most of their stories multiple times during banquets just like this one. So we're not going to repeat them again. Instead, I decided to ask our longest serving honorees just 2 questions. Number 1, what was it like to soldier on, even though they were underrated, underappreciated, and underestimated? And number 2, what's it like now? How satisfying is it now to know that El Pasoans see us very differently than they used to? So much so that the other hospitals in town don't ignore us anymore. They actually worry about what we're up to. Here's what they had to say, and please hold your applause till the end.
The community used to actually pack up patients that would go into their ER or their hospital. They do what we call a wallet scan and then send them to us. That was the way it worked at that time. So we found ourselves always been the guy on the very lowest part of the totem pole. Every hospital could do that to us. And it was very difficult to work with because our resources were far less than what they had. But what kept you going here was the great need that our patients had. This community that we serve around us and on the outskirts of the towns are the people that we served. They had nothing. They had very little. So When you came here, it was more of a mission. You served a mission. You served a greater power.
We had a lot of people that we saw every day, you know, like frequent patients that you kind of got attached to. And that's what motivated us to come in and do our job.
So you didn't pay attention to what people were saying?
No. Mm-mm. We liked what we were doing, and, you know, we kept on coming here.
My sister, she works at Providence, and then she was mentioning that I was working here. At that time, it used to be Thomason, and I remember she was, you know, surprised that her coworker told her, "Oh, your sister works at Thomason. I wouldn't even take my dog in there because of the vet services that they provide there." And, you know, I said, "Oh, no, that's not true. There is good people like me that work there, you know, hard, and you know, we're there to serve that community, and that's what we do, and I always believe in that. We provide good services for the needed people, you know."
We came from a faraway place. I didn't have any idea what kind of hospital I was going to. But once I got here, I saw how bad it was. And all I could think of is, I only have a year to stay. That's what my visa says and my contract. But then, as you come every day, and the kind of care we give, I mean, just the nurses among ourselves, we worked to give care. And I said, we may look like a dump, because it did look like a dump, truly. Coming from where hospital I worked, it was like, I'm in the third world. But then, because the way we work and the way we want to give care, that was the thing that kept us going. So even after a year, us nurses from the Philippines, we looked at each other and said, you know what, this is a good place. So it's not the physical appearance of Thomason that kept us, but the way we worked for the patients.
As far as the community not respecting us, I think that we kind of knew that, but we kept plugging along, doing our thing. And I had all my children here, and I never felt that way. I always felt that these are people that I knew cared about their patients, and that's why I had my children here. And as a matter of fact, this organization saved one of my daughter's lives. I had her in the ICU and she was very sick, but they saved her life. And that's why I feel a sense of commitment to this place.
The part that I'm kind of sometimes embarrassed to talk about is that when we would discuss the hospital, or somebody was, you know, saying that they were mistreated here at the hospital, I would always keep quiet. I wouldn't say, "Oh, I worked there," or "You should have done this." And I feel bad now when I think about it. Back then, it wasn't, I guess, cool to defend Thomason, and maybe we were perpetuating the way people viewed us. And I kind of regret that I didn't speak up back then, because I knew that within those walls of the hospital, even though the people saw us one way, it wasn't really the case. We had a core of good people that you know, you respected, and that were hard workers.
There were so many things that could be improved, that it always provided opportunities to work on things, and it was a challenge every day, a challenge to find enough money, to find ways to improve. We were in the smallest imaginable space for an outpatient pharmacy when I started. If you bent over, you would hit the wall. You had no room to move around, and we still did about 500 prescriptions a day then. So I didn't view it as too much of a problem. It just was an opportunity to improve.
And it's hard because, you know, outside out of the workplace, there's people, you know, Thomason's no good. Well, back then it was Thomason. How can you work there? And why don't you go to Sierra? Why don't you go do this? I'll stay there because they've been real good to me.
A lot of people would tell me something like, "What, you work at Thomason? Ooh, Charlie, get out of there," and stuff like that. But, I'd be like, it's not a very good place to work, and I'd be like, it really is. I like it. The one good thing about it, since I was working there, people have always been super sweet. I mean, everybody, all the nurses and staff, and everybody here at Thomason, they've always been, ever since when I started, everybody was really, really nice, and everybody still is.
Slowly, people started saying, "Well, why do you work at Thomason?" Thomason it's a meat house. Too many people go in there, and they have no respect for people, and they don't treat people right. But as you go on, you see that it's not what people say.
I had just finished my degree in respiratory care, and I had heard of Thomason back then, that it was a good place to learn. But then I would hear a lot of negative things about Thomason. But I always remember that sometimes the negative can be turned around by the people that work here, that they do that difference. And I come with that expectation of hopefully making that difference.
We didn't care at that time what people said. We just thought, this is a job. We're here for what? To take care of the ill. And this is what, every day we'd come, people would always have something to say about Thomason, R.E. Thomason. We'd turn around and say, but you know what? You go into the hospital and you get the best service that you can, starting from housekeeping. Because housekeeping was really tough back there, because I was a housekeeper, and it was tough working. And every time we were building construction, but we were making this hospital a home, not just a place where patients could come and be sick and stay here. We wanted them to be comfortable. So that's what we look forward every day, is coming here. We were a family that we were going to provide for another family. A patient was a family member too.
Yeah, it was an old-looking building, but the heartbeat of the building were the people. And they were so warm, so generous. They taught me everything I know. There are key people in my life here who've taught me everything I know, and I never fail to recognize them even today. Ones that have retired, ones that we still have. And they're very special to me. That kept me coming every day. I knew that I had the talent to be a nurse, and I knew that I had much to learn, and this would be the place to learn it.
When we first came here in El Paso, I was so excited. I never heard anything bad about the hospital yet. When I first landed here, I was just so excited to work. And with the people I work with, I've never heard anything bad. They never said anything bad about the hospital. But I've heard it from the patients, family mostly, but they were surprised how they were treated, after they came here. And they said they're very happy to come here. That's why I'm really surprised people are saying bad things about the hospital, even before then, And so I was just really excited to be here.
As a nurse, we just have to do our job, and we started loving El Paso. We are doing our job and working with my friends. It's nice to work with my friends, and the people in El Paso are so nice. So we stayed, and I don't care what they said, but UMC or Thomason at that time is the best for me.
I would say it was definitely an element of classism to the whole, the disrespect towards Thomason Hospital. It's a county hospital. That's where poor people go. That's where, not our kind of people go. There was certainly a lot of that in the disrespect back then. And then of course a lot of people just ignorance. They really had no idea, but they just had these ideas in their head that nice people don't go there, that kind of thing. So there was that.
Yeah, I would, with my family sometimes, not my immediate, but, close people, friends, they would ask me, it's a poor hospital, you should go to one of the other hospitals. And I said no. And I felt like I had to be defending myself, you know, and defending the hospital. I mean, it's a good place to work, you know. I mean, I've been here 25 years and I still enjoy it, and the people are nice, the patients that we have, you know. That's why we're here, for the patients.
We are all on equal footing now. We are no longer the guys who have to take everything that didn't have money. We are equal, and if in many regards, not much more better than what anybody else can give. There is a bigger respect for us. A little bit of fear, but a great respect for us.
That's very satisfying, and most of all, because of the respect that we're getting from other hospitals that we didn't have at that time.
Oh no, I'm 100% satisfied, you know, even with the technology and, you know, with the helicopter that comes here to bring, you know, the accidents. We're #1, you know, in those severe cases, you know, the motor vehicle accidents. No, I feel very satisfied. I recommend this place to everybody, even my mother, my family. I believe in this place, you know, and I'm 100% satisfied.
It's like I'm so proud to say I work at UMC. You know, it's like I work in a 5-star hospital. You know, it's not like anymore like it used to. But you say it with pride, and because, you know, we're going more further than I've imagined. And so it's like, gosh, you know, it's like your baby growing up and you go, wow, the accomplishments, it's something you can't imagine.
Oh, it's a sense of pride. It's wonderful. There's people who out there in the community now, oh, you work at UMC, oh, do you know if there's any openings? I wanna work there. You know, I just finished my education. Is there anybody I need to talk to? You know, so it's like, wow, that's wonderful. You know, before people were like, oh, you work there? It's like, yeah. But now it's a sense of pride. It's wonderful.
It is very satisfying knowing that we've come such a long way. I know personally, I mean, it's no longer an issue with me, or I don't feel hesitant about defending the hospital or talking about the hospital or spouting some of the things that we do, or you know, talking to people about it. And it makes me, I mean, I know my brother-in-law, he's the CEO at Del Sol, and whenever we talk, it's always about, you guys are doing this, but we're doing that, and it never used to be that. It was always very negative, and now I can see the respect that he has for our leadership, our hospital, and it makes a big difference in the way, you know, just hearing him talk about our hospital, it says a lot to me about how others view us. And not just so much the community, but even the other businesses, other hospitals, they look at us differently. And I feel very proud to have been part of that, to have been a part of that group of people that stuck through it.
At this point in time, I have people, when I see them in the community, that say that this would be a place that they would choose to come. That certainly wasn't true back in 25 years ago. They perceive it as good a place to come as any other place in town, if not better. I've had comments on how clean and well organized the place is. It's just a completely different feeling in the community when you talk to somebody.
People now, oh, it's growing and it's beautiful. And then I would ask him, remember years back, you know, how it was ugly? Now that, oh no, they said now it's different, and it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Everything with a new hospital and everything.
So does it make you very proud?
Yes, it makes me very proud. I am very proud to work here.
It feels good to know people are saying, well, maybe family or stuff, and I guess people would say, my brothers would say something like, I guess, Charlie, I guess you're right, Thomas has really grown, so I guess you made a good decision. That's what they tell me now. Not before they say, hey, go to another hospital, you know, probably better off, you get better pay and stuff, but now they're saying something like, I guess you did, we did, yeah, you're right. I finally made, maybe you finally made something right, Charlie, for herself. Something like that. Thanks.
When I first started working, my neighbors would ask me, "You work at Thomason?" Like, yes, I work at Thomason, and they would give me a bad, scenario about Thomason. Now they, every time I go to get out of my house, the first thing they see is my logo, and they don't ask me for Thomason no more. They ask, "Now, oh, you work for UMC now?" Like, yes, I do. So UMC is great. The outside it looks beautiful. Now you guys can compete with other hospitals.
It's just amazing how much has developed in our institution with our workers, with our building, and there's still a lot more to come, and I'm sure that it'll happen. I'm very proud of working here and very happy. I see so many changes going on daily, as a matter of fact. Periodically we open up clinics, which is something that the community basically needs. And I think it's a good vision that we had of taking now University Medical Center to the people instead of them coming to us.
Now we have a brand new home, and we have more people that want to join into our home. And a lot of the competitors, they want to be part of us, and they do it very discreetly, joining our team. And just it being what we are now, you see it on the freeway, you see it every which way, and that's our new home. And that's now more because we have a lot more to provide for them. We have all these new services, and now it's like you're coming into our new home, and guess what? We're going to treat you twice, 3 times better than what anybody else has, because we have what we can provide for you, and we're not going to turn you away from us. So welcome to our new home.
We're held to a high standard, a very high standard, and we have evolved so much. We're very good. We're just as good or better than anybody out there.
Almost everybody, that goes home after, they get, their procedure done here, they're always saying, very nice things about the hospital. They were really surprised, They said, we'll have, our family members come to this hospital because they were treated, nice, and they're just really happy to be here. In fact, they even recommend some of their family member that's also an RN to apply here in this hospital, and that's very nice to hear from them.
So how proud does that make you?
Very proud, very, very proud. I always tell my coworkers the only reason why I'm gonna quit this hospital is because of the paperwork. But I love, I love the work, but except for the paperwork. You can work me to death, but don't let me do that. I wish they can do something about that. I wish we can do like what doctors is doing, the voice activated, charting. Maybe it can help us in the future. But honestly, I love working here. I'm very happy to be here.
I believe that we are providing an excellent care to our patients, and I would like to be a part of one day on a magnet status hospital, hopefully this year.
It is nice to have the respect from outside the community that was lacking then. So that is kind of nice. You go, people are like, my mom saying, "Oh, my daughter works at University Medical Center," and other people are like, "Ooh, wow." So that's good for her, and it's good for Dad, and then it's good for me too. So it is very satisfying, very pleasing.
And it's good, what has happened, and the changes that you go through, you see it. And it's satisfying, to see that all these changes have happened. And sometimes, even my family's, one of my sisters, she used to work with this doctor, and she said, he's going to children's. Yeah, and he took all his patients with him, and it's like, yes, it's a good hospital.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce you, like you needed to be introduced to them, our longest serving associates, Miss Irma Estrada, 40 years. Miss Angie Olivas, 40 years. Clear the way for Angie. Miss D. Cruz, 30 years. Mr. Jesus Fuentes, 30 years. Jim, did you know that Jesus' brother-in-law is Jacob Cintron?
I made a note of that. And he, Jacob Cintron?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a painter when 30 years ago or so.
Okay. He was a painter 30 years ago, I don't know. Miss Leticia Hernandez, 30 years. Miss Thelma Herrera, 30 years. Miss Carrie O'Byrne, 30 years. Miss Leonore Rivera, 30 years. Miss Mary Almanza, 25 years. There she is. Miss Cynthia Kahima, 25 years. She's scared, she says. Miss Cecilia Chavez, 25 years. Miss Altagracia Gracie Garcia, 25 years. Miss Sandra Gomez, 25 years. Mr. Ronald Gomez, 25 years. Miss Patricia Hicks, 25 years. Come on, Perry. I think she took the most circuitous route ever to the stage. Miss Joan Huffman, 25 years. Does anyone see Joan? Oh, okay, good, good. There she is. The lights are blinding. Mr. Raul Jara, 25 years. Miss Irene Landeros, 25 years. I saw her, I know she's here. Okay. There you are. Mr. Myron Lewis, 25 years. Where is he? Okay. Mr. Gerardo Jerry Montero, 25 years. Miss Priscilla Oporto, 25 years. And one of my favorite buds of all time, Carlos Charlie Reyes, 25 years. Way to go, Charlie. He finally did something right. Did you hear him say that? He's such a doll. Yeah. Just like Susan Boyle. Let's give them all another round of applause. Chiefs, you can take your seats. Okay, for the big wrap-up. You know, unlike Susan Boyle, the lady that we started with tonight, my understanding is that Irma Estrada can't sing worth a damn. But, like Susan and all of you, she and all of the other honorees tonight have made the big time. You are underrated no more, and right there with the best of them. So you know what? You can go back to the UMC Village with your heads held high. It's 3 yeses. Good night, everybody. I love you, and I'm going to leave you with this.
Together, for the very first time, please welcome Elaine Page and Susan Boyle.
Nothing is so good it lasts eternally. Perfect situations must go wrong, but this has never yet prevented me wanting wanting far too much for far too long. Looking back, I could have played it differently. Want a few more moments, who can tell? But it took time to understand the man. Now at least I know him well. Wasn't it good? Oh, so good. Wasn't he fine? Oh, so fine. Isn't it madness? He can't be mine. But in the end he needs a little bit more than me. More security. He needs his fantasy and freedom. I know him so well. No one in your life is with you constantly. No one is completely on your side. And though I'd move my world to be with him, still the gap between us is too wide. Looking back, I could have played it differently. On a few more moments, who can tell? Just a little kid. And I was ever so much younger then. Now at least I know him well. Wasn't it good? Oh, so good. Wasn't he fine? Oh, so fine. Isn't it madness? He won't be mine. Didn't I know?